Hello and welcome to the Healthcare Executive Insights podcast. My name is Elliot Sloan with the Macallan Group. Today we have a very special guest, Paul Donohue, who is the Vice President, Philanthropy and Community Relations at the Ingalls Development Foundation. Paul, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today.
My pleasure, Elliot. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, we're lucky to have you. I know you're a busy guy. Tell us a little bit about your professional experience, and then we'll talk about the foundation.
Sure. I've been with U Chicago Medicine, Ingalls Memorial, running the Ingalls Development Foundation now for 6 years. Prior to that, I spent 5 years running a community hospital foundation in Champaign-Urbana for a Catholic health system. So I've been in healthcare philanthropy now for about a decade.
So tell us more about Ingalls Development Foundation. What is the mission of the organization?
Yeah, so our mission, our purpose is to identify donors interested in making philanthropic investments to transform community health. We are located in Harvey, Illinois, which is a south suburb of Chicago, one of the most hard-hit, disadvantaged, racially diverse communities in Chicagoland. But it's home for me. I grew up in this area. Harvey, Illinois has a wonderful story, a wonderful history. At the time, it was the manufacturing home, the hub of the entire Chicagoland area. This is back in the 1920s and 30s, before there was a North Shore, before there was North Suburbs, before there was O'Hare Airport. There was the South Side, and Harvey anchored the economy for the entire Chicagoland area. And at the time, there was an industrialist, a steel company executive by the name of Frederick Ingalls, who recognized that his workers needed better health care. And there was no hospital in the area. And so Mr. Ingalls, with prodding from his wife at the time, said, let's start and open a community hospital. And that's how it started. We celebrate 100 years coming up in 2023. And our story right now is philanthropy opened the doors to healthcare in this community. And now for the next 100 years, we're going to go back to philanthropy and ask our donors to secure the next 100 years.
Yeah, I actually saw the introduction video or the history video on the Ingalls Development Foundation website.
Wow.
And a little bit about what you're sharing with us today, that it was Mr. and Mrs. Ingalls who really made all this happen.
At the end of the day, we tell stories, and Ingalls is an anchor institution in every meaning of the word in this community. We like to talk about offering a community of despair, an island of healing and hope, and that's the Ingalls campus. It's a beautiful campus surrounded by trees and bushes and flowers, and it's a very beautifully landscaped property. But Harvey is a devastated community in every sense of the word. High crime, high poverty, huge unemployment, affordable housing, violent crime. You name it. This community suffers from it, and so we just take pride in taking care of the patients, not only inside the hospital, but we also recognize through our foundation an obligation as an anchor institution to do what we can to help heal the outside of our walls and outside in the community.
Yeah, I know for a lot of non-for-profit community hospitals, they're struggling to stay alive and keep their doors open. It's a problem that's happening throughout the whole country.
Yeah.
Where you'll go to some parts of rural America, and if one of those hospitals closes, you're not going to find a health system for 100 miles. So what I've learned is the only way these community hospitals can survive is through foundations like yours and through tax benefits through the federal government, grants, but they're not staying alive by reimbursements on healthcare services.
You're totally correct on everything that you're saying, Elliot. And Ingalls wouldn't survive as a standalone community hospital. We don't have what they call the payer mix to keep the doors open. Overwhelmingly, our patients that come to this hospital are on public assistance. They have no private health insurance. The Affordable Care Act has certainly helped plug the gap in those who have no insurance versus those who have some form of payment. But even those who have some form of payment fall far short of the cost of the benefits that they receive. Yet here we are.
Yeah, it honestly seems like it's time to adjust where the sails are pointing, right? Maybe we've been sailing in the wrong direction with our healthcare in this society as a whole.
Without question, and I think that everyone in the industry is certainly, well-meaning and focusing in on the right issues in terms of, excellent patient care and taking particular attention to patient satisfaction surveys and maintaining excellence in. But the fact is, if we can't figure out how to prevent people from coming to the hospital to take advantage of these services, then we're looking at the wrong issues. And so that's where the future is headed. It is anticipating helping people recognize their own profile through genetic screening, for instance, which is a new service that we've offered at Ingalls that the foundation is funding. Understand your genetic profile and attempt to anticipate challenges that you may see coming down the road.
A lot of people are starting to hear the word functional medicine. And what it really breaks down to is knowing your chemistry and your DNA and doing in-depth diagnostics on blood work and creating a customized formula for each individual patient to prevent disease and illness down the road. I think it's the future of medicine and keeping healthcare costs down, especially for health systems. Talk to me about how you're trying to be on the forefront of preventative medicine rather than reactive medicine.
Yeah, I like the word forefront. I think it's in the tagline of our corporate organization. So thank you for that. This is an area that we're very excited about. And it's an example of how our health system can innovate within our organizational model. We're part of a very large academic medical center in Chicago that performs the most advanced care in the country and the world. But they're somewhat constrained in how nimble and innovative they can be in some ways. And so that's how our community hospital can provide value for the entire enterprise by deploying pilot programs and testing ideas and concepts that can ultimately make their way up to the health system and benefit the entire enterprise. And we believe genetic screening is one of those programs.
Talk to me about the culture in a health system. In your opinion, how important is the culture of a health system, and how does leadership make a difference of the culture?
That's an enormous question that has many layers to it, and we're grappling with it ourselves. We're a community hospital with a culture of taking care of the community for 100 years, 100 years in this community. And our doctors have practiced medicine, most of them independent doctors that only practice at Ingalls historically because of the community that we serve, the at-risk patient population, where 95% of the people that live in our region, in our home community, are African American or minority. And these folks are poverty-stricken. They have enormous challenges. But these physicians, they choose to practice at Ingalls because of the community and because of the reputation that we've always had for outstanding care. That's our culture. Now we're part of an academic medical center, and it's only been 4 or 5 years since that merger, with a completely different culture. It's academic medicine. It's the highest quality. These folks are totally incentivized by achievement and research and doing the most advanced care and world-renowned care. They're the kind of care they're doing up there. It's transformational, but it's a completely different culture than what we have at Ingalls. Wow. Elliot, you could talk all day on this topic. It's incredibly important. It's incredibly challenging, but it goes to the heart of who are you as an institution, as an organization, and how do you want to influence culture? It's an unbelievably challenging situation for us to be in right now.
Yeah, the dynamic seems very complex. You are not necessarily beating to the same drum when it comes to the mission and the goals of the institution, of the hospital. So I can imagine it becomes really hard to be on that executive leadership team, to keep really two different visions in line, which is push research, push advanced medicine, and just take care of the community. Just serve the people that need us the most.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit it on the head. You know what I take um, satisfaction in, and what gives me hope, is the next level of management that is populated by some of the most dedicated managers and clinicians that you can imagine. They may not be surfacing, to be the president of the hospital, but they're every day they're keeping the patient focus top of mind and taking care of the patients. And so that's how you manage in this environment, is you take care of your own business and recognize that every day those folks, those patients are coming in the door, and they don't care who the president of the hospital is, and they would never probably meet them anyways. They just have a condition that they need help with. And we have incredibly capable and dedicated nurses, operation managers, directors, middle managers, that's what they do. And I'm just proud and honored, to work with healthcare professionals.
So tell me, what are some of the drivers to keeping the foundation growing, to keep new donors coming in through the door? What are some ways that you're keeping the funds flowing through to the community hospital that needs it desperately?
Yeah, we're a business, and we're uh, you know at risk of the same challenges that any other business faces, and that's grow your customers, grow your business, add more revenue. And it's a big challenge for us, especially following COVID, but we still rely significantly on our signature events, our gala, which is one of the most successful community hospital fundraising events in the Chicagoland area, that attracts, over 1,000 people in a given year. That to us, not only is it a fundraiser, but it's a way to identify prospective new donors, because we bring in a headlining act, and it attracts an interest in coming to the event, but then they learn about the hospital at these events. Same thing with our golf outing. It's a premier event that we have at Olympia Fields Country Club, one of the top clubs in the Chicagoland area. But it brings people to the event to learn about what's happening in the hospital. And so that's how we then can identify prospective new donors.
Just from being an outsider listening in, it sounds like you are moving mountains for the community with being innovative and providing a lot of beneficial programs. I think you just need to get these stories told to the mass audiences, right? You need to shout your stories from the rooftops so more people can look and see what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that, Elliot. And one of our key strategies as well is and where I think our greatest opportunity is around community development, is recognizing that we have a role as an anchor institution and inviting donors, corporations, private foundations to invest in our success. And
yeah, it sounds like you guys are really thinking outside the box, and obviously the foundation has a wonderful leader pushing these initiatives through. So I know you have your work cut out for you, and the work will never end. You're doing God's work in a way, and the community needs you. It's not about are you creating value for the community? It's the community can't survive without you.
I don't think there's any question, and thankfully our organization recognizes that role, that opportunity. I just happen to be in this seat at this time, but anybody else that would see the same opportunities that I see, and who knows, Elliot, where things are going and how it's going to play out. But there's folks like myself all over this country that are vested in the work of healthcare and our communities. It is very meaningful work, and our country needs new models, new innovative models of care that we can present and say, see, there is a solution to this challenge. And hopefully, Ingalls and the work that we're doing can play a small part in that.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate the conversation that we had. We learned a lot about your foundation and the work that you guys are doing. We'll follow up with you in a few months to learn about any new innovative programs you guys are rolling out in the community that other community hospitals might be able to learn some insights and gain some value from.
I appreciate that, Elliot. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, you have a wonderful day. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. You too.